Ensign Vorik to Lieutenant Torres. I recommend rechecking the stabilizers for power fluctuations. The surge appears to have affected my station.
Chief Engineer's Log. Lieutenant Torres. Stardate 49563.2. We've begun integrating 100 replicators with Voyager's transporters. It is a difficult job, and the tolerances are tighter than I would like. If it works, we'll have far more flexibility in how we use the ship's resources, but the integration touches power distribution, transporter calibration, pattern buffer management, and matter recycling control all at once. That means one mistake in one section can become everyone's problem very quickly.
Second Engineer's Log, Lieutenant Carey. Lieutenant Torres assigned me to lead the modifications on decks 5 and 6. The main challenge is not raw power. It is keeping the power distribution predictable while we reinforce the grid around systems that were never designed to work together this closely. With the ship already stretched, even a small transfer spike could cascade through the wrong junction if we miss it.
Engineering Log, Ensign Vorik. My team was assigned to Deck 8. Our task is to calibrate the transporter systems for synchronization with the replicator network. The required precision for subatomic alignment is considerable. I have therefore prioritized fluctuation prediction, containment stability, and dynamic correction before full integration. Ensign Vorik to Lieutenant Torres. I recommend rechecking the stabilizers for power fluctuations. The surge appears to have affected my station.
Understood. Torres to Hogan. Assist Vorik on Deck 8 and verify the stabilizers.
On my way, Lieutenant.
Vorik, are you injured?
Only a minor abrasion. It does not impede my ability to continue.
I'll take a look at those stabilizers, Vorik. Let me know if there's anything else acting up here.
Thank you. I have documented the power fluctuations for your review.
You might want to let Kes look at that. Never know what kind of contaminants could develop.
A logical precaution. I will seek medical attention after my task is complete.
Chief Engineer's Log, Supplemental. The integration is proceeding, but power instability across several nodes is forcing us to make adjustments as we go. None of the failures are catastrophic. That is the good news. The bad news is that the margin between stable and unstable is narrower than I would like.
Engineering Log, Lieutenant Susan Nicoletti, Supplemental. My team is managing the power synchronization on Deck 10 between the replicators and transporter interfaces. I have been fine-tuning the balance between them and took a page out of Lieutenant Torres's book by installing auto-correction algorithms to compensate for fluctuations during the shift between molecular and subatomic precision. Each calculation has to be exact. Even a minor drift in the wrong part of the process could compromise the pattern buffers or send a surge back through the grid. The algorithms are well tested under other circumstances, and the risk is low, but I will have to monitor their effectiveness over the next few days.
Torres to Nicoletti. I'm seeing a slight power drop on the synchronization node. Try recalibrating the flow between the transporter interface and the pattern buffers, and I'll monitor from here.
On it, Lieutenant.
Vorik, is everything all right?
I sustained a minor injury during my work. It does not affect my duties. I was going to see to it after my shift.
Let me take care of that. Minor injuries can lead to complications if left untreated for longer periods.
If you insist, Kes, however, it is unnecessary.
It's part of my duties, Vorik, and I've been curious about the engineering problems you're working on. Would you mind explaining your process while I finish this?
Your interest is noted. I believe the subatomic synchronization may benefit from additional adjustments to the containment field. Your input could help mitigate risks for the crew.
Chief Engineer's Log. Final entry of the day. We are making progress, and the system is holding for now. But that does not make the work any easier. The closer we get, every decision feels like it carries the weight of the entire ship.